in terms of the transition from CS to Valorant and the, are there things that you feel like are hurting you that, things that you habituated from the many years of playing CS and now you're coming over to Valorant? Or do you think that there's more as like a net positive ultimately?
There's a few things that I'm kind of like still wired for CS. For example, like a Reina flash comes out, I turn from it instead of shooting it, you know? And in CS, you turn from flashes. So things like that, those little things, I think it will take a while to rewire. But I think for the most part, just because I've played so many different styles of games, I've played StarCraft 2, Warcraft 3, I've played Dota 2, I've played Overwatch and PUBG and a few hours of Rainbow Six Siege. Like because I've played a variety of games, I feel like I'm more equipped to kind of like come into Valorant and know that it's not CS and that you can kind of transfer a lot of the same concepts that you learn and a lot of the same fundamentals that you learn, but you have to realize it's a new game and you can't play it exactly the same way. But um, what was the first part of the question again?
Yeah, whether it's you feel like it's a net positive overall having all of the experience from CS, or if there's too many sort of things that are habituated that are like just kind of you feel like are slowing you down a little bit.
I think it's still a net positive. A lot of the things are still constant. For example, like rotations, when to rotate versus when to stay in your area and hold your stuff and trust that your teammates are going to hold. Because like in Counter-Strike, it takes a while to learn how to identify a fake and if it's a fake or not. Or, maybe there's low time on the clock and then, the enemy show at one site, you're like, oh, there's only 20 seconds left. They gotta be hitting, and then you start rotating. I think I'm at a point in Counter-Strike where I would be like, okay, you guys are gonna hold your stuff, and if you don't, then we have to play the retake. But if I leave now, you know, you're gonna be dead, and I'm gonna have to wait for my other teammates to rotate anyways before I can approach this retake situation. So why even leave? And then if it is a fake, I'm already in position. So stuff like this is good, and then you have to also consider the map, whatever's on the map. So a map like Bind, there's teleporters. You have to respect the fact that there's teleporters on the map, which is something that doesn't exist in Counter-Strike. So I think some players would be like, "Oh, well, yeah, they're gonna do this play, and they're committed," but then they don't realize like, "Oh, the Omen's got his ulti ready, so he can like tap the bomb in A and then TP over to B. You can't over rotate." Or they can hit the short TP and get back to hookah within 5 seconds. So if you over rotate, you've left the bomb site completely. I don't know. Like, I think for me, it's a net positive just because I've experienced so many different games that I don't feel like I was kind of pigeonholed into this tiny way of looking at the game and playing it. But I think it might affect other players. Um, but I think again, it comes back to adaptation, and it's either you can adapt or you can't, or you adapt fast enough, or you're not adapting fast enough. I think I can adapt fast enough to the changes, and I think that the people that can't adapt fast enough, it's unlucky, really. I think they'll get weeded out of Valorant sooner rather than later. Like in Counter Strike, the meta shifts were so like there would be a meta shift what like once every like 9 months on average or something like that. I don't know what the actual answer is, but I think that the meta shifts were so slow in that game that you could get to like a really good level in one meta and you can kind of linger around for a really long time. That's why you saw people that would linger around for like 2 or 3 years, even though they've fallen off like a year or two before, just because the meta changed so slowly and then they fell off over a long period of time. I feel like in this game, people are going to fall off a lot quicker and it's going to be a lot more noticeable. And they won't be able to just like that meme like paycheck stealers in Counter-Strike. I feel like you're not going to be able to paycheck steal as much in this game.